Annabelle the Doll, the Warren case that started it all, a nursing student, received a Raggedy Ann doll as a gift. Within days, something demonic had moved into her apartment. Long before the films and the fame, before the name Annabelle became synonymous with supernatural terror, there exists a vintage Raggedy Ann doll with button eyes and a stitched smile sitting motionless behind glass in Monroe, Connecticut. The doll appears harmless to those who see it for the first time, worn fabric, faded colors, the innocent face of a children's toy from another era. But those who study its history understand that appearances mean nothing when dealing with forces that exist beyond human comprehension. The case begins in 1970 in Hartford, Connecticut, where a young nursing student named Donna receives what seems like a thoughtful birthday gift from her mother. The vintage doll arrives wrapped and smiling, destined for a place on Donna's bed as simple decoration in the apartment she shares with her roommate Angie. Both women are practical, educated, focused on their nursing careers. Neither has any particular interest in the paranormal or the unexplained. Their world is built on science, medicine, evidence that can be measured and understood. Nothing in their training or their lives prepares them for what begins within days of the doll's arrival. The apartment feels different almost immediately, heavier somehow, as if the air itself has thickened. The sensation is subtle at first, easy to dismiss as stress or exhaustion from long shifts at the hospital. But the feeling persists and grows stronger. Something unseen has moved into the apartment alongside the innocent birthday gift, and both women sense it even before they can articulate what they are feeling. The changes start small. Donna and Angie leave the doll sitting in one position on the bed and return hours later to find it in another. Legs crossed when they had been straight, hands folded when they had been at its sides. The women question their own memories, wondering if they are simply misremembering how they left the doll that morning. But the movements become too frequent and too dramatic to explain away as faulty recollection. The doll appears on the couch when it had definitely been left on the bed. It is found standing upright in corners of rooms, an impossible position for a limp cloth doll with no internal structure to support itself. Most disturbing are the mornings when the women return from overnight shifts at the hospital to find the doll in entirely different rooms from where they left it. Then the notes begin appearing. Pieces of parchment paper materialize around the apartment bearing childlike handwriting. The messages are simple and desperate. Help us and help Lou. Lou is a friend who visits the apartment often, and from the very first day he sees the doll, he insists that something is deeply wrong with it. He tells Donna and Angie that the doll radiates evil, that it should be removed from the apartment immediately. The women dismiss his concerns as superstition, the kind of irrational fear that has no place in their evidence-based worldview. But Lou's unease proves to be well-founded in ways none of them can anticipate. Neither Donna nor Angie owns parchment paper. Neither has written the notes. The handwriting belongs to no one they know. The messages appear when the apartment is empty and locked. The activity escalates from unsettling to genuinely frightening. Objects move when no one is present. Doors open and close on their own. The oppressive feeling in the apartment intensifies until both women dread returning home after their shifts. Then comes the night that changes everything, the night Lou experiences an attack that transforms the case from strange occurrences into genuine danger. Lou wakes in the middle of the night in the apartment with the overwhelming sensation that he is not alone. He opens his eyes to find the Raggedy Ann doll at the foot of his bed, though he knows it had been in Donna's room when he fell asleep. Before he can move or cry out, invisible hands close around his throat. He struggles against the pressure, fighting for air, feeling the strength of something that has no physical form. The attack lasts only seconds, but feels eternal. When the pressure releases, Lou gasps and looks down at his chest to see scratch marks appearing across his skin, 7 distinct claw marks that manifest before his eyes as if drawn by an invisible hand. The marks burn and bleed. Lou calls out for help, and when Donna and Angie reach him, the doll is back in its original position. The scratch marks remain as undeniable evidence that something malevolent has crossed the line from moving objects to attacking people. Frightened and desperate for answers, the women contact a medium who agrees to hold a séance in the apartment. The medium enters a trance and claims to make contact with the entity attached to the doll. The spirit identifies itself as Annabelle Higgins, a 7-year-old girl who died tragically on the property where the apartment building now stands. The entity claims to be lonely, searching for companionship, wanting only to be loved and included. The medium explains that the spirit found Donna and Angie to be kind young women and attached itself to the doll to remain close to them. Moved by the tragic story and feeling compassion for what they believe is the ghost of a lonely child, Donna and Angie give the spirit permission to stay. They tell the entity that it can remain in the apartment, that they will not force it to leave. The activity immediately worsens. The movements become more aggressive. The oppressive presence intensifies. Objects are thrown rather than simply moved. The women realize they have made a terrible mistake, but do not know how to undo it. A priest who hears about the case through mutual acquaintances contacts Ed and Lorraine Warren, already well-known investigators of paranormal phenomena. The Warrens agree to visit the Hartford apartment and assess the situation. From the moment Lorraine Warren crosses the threshold, she feels the oppressive presence radiating from the doll and permeating the entire space. Ed Warren listens carefully as Donna, Angie, and Lou recount every detail of the escalating activity, the movements, the notes, the attack, the séance. When they finish, Ed delivers his verdict with the quiet certainty of someone who has confronted such forces many times before. There is no little girl named Annabelle Higgins. There has never been one. The story is a fabrication, a manipulation designed specifically to exploit the compassion of the two nursing students. Ed explains that demonic entities are intelligent and patient. They observe their human targets carefully, studying their personalities and vulnerabilities. This entity watched Donna and Angie long enough to understand that they would respond with sympathy to the story of a lonely dead child. The medium, whether knowingly or unknowingly, served as the conduit for this deception. By granting the spirit permission to stay, the women unknowingly invited a demonic presence into their home and their lives. Ed emphasizes a critical point that many people misunderstand about such cases. The entity does not possess the doll in the way popular culture imagines possession. The doll is not alive. It is not moving on its own. The entity uses the doll as a focal point, a conduit through which it can manipulate the physical world and establish dominance in the space. The doll serves as a recognizable form that allows the entity to inspire fear and demonstrate its power. Lou's attack was a clear escalation, a demonstration that the entity was moving beyond the doll and beginning to directly harm the people in the apartment. Left unchallenged, the activity would continue to escalate. The entity would move from scratching to more serious injuries, from intimidation to genuine harm. Ed Warren carefully wraps the Raggedy Ann doll in brown paper, deliberately avoiding any direct contact with bare skin. He places the wrapped bundle in the back of his car for the drive back to the Warren home in Monroe. During the journey, the car stalls repeatedly on the highway for no mechanical reason. Traffic rushes past as Ed and Lorraine sit vulnerable on the shoulder of the road. Ed removes the brown paper and sprinkles holy water directly over the doll, blessing it in the name of protection. From that moment forward, the car runs without a single issue for the remainder of the trip. Back in Monroe, Ed constructs a specially designed glass case in the Warren Occult Museum. He places the doll inside with a prominent warning sign, "Do not open." The case is not simply for display. It serves as a form of containment, blessed and monitored to ensure the entity cannot use the doll to harm anyone else. Catholic priests are invited regularly to the museum to perform blessings over the collection and specifically over the Annabelle case. Ed is adamant that the doll should never be destroyed. Burning it or breaking it apart would only release the entity to find another object, another family, another door through which to enter the world. As long as the doll remains contained and blessed, the entity remains bound to it. The Annabelle doll remains in its glass case in the Warren Occult Museum decades after the original case, still drawing visitors from around the world who come to see the object at the center of one of the most famous paranormal investigations of the 20th century. Over the years, numerous stories emerge of those who mock or disrespect the warnings suffering consequences. The most notable incident involves a young man who visits the museum, slaps the glass case, and taunts the doll, calling it a fraud and laughing at the idea that it could harm anyone. He leaves the museum on his motorcycle. Within 2 hours, he loses control of the bike and is killed in a crash. His girlfriend, riding with him, survives but tells investigators that he was laughing about the doll moments before the accident. The case becomes the cornerstone of the Warren legacy, launching them into international recognition and establishing their reputation as serious investigators of inhuman entities. The Annabelle story is eventually adapted into multiple films within the Conjuring universe, bringing the case to millions of viewers who might never have heard of the real investigation. Ed Warren always insists that people misunderstand the fundamental lesson of the Annabelle case. The danger was never the doll itself. The danger was the willingness to believe a comforting lie rather than confront an uncomfortable truth. The entity understood that compassion could be weaponized, that kindness could become a vulnerability. It crafted the perfect story to ensure the young women would welcome it rather than cast it out. Lorraine Warren, who survives Ed by many years, continues to emphasize the importance of the case in understanding how demonic entities operate. They are not mindless forces of chaos. They are intelligent, calculating, patient. They study human psychology and exploit it with precision. The story of the lonely child was not a random deception. It was targeted manipulation designed specifically for Donna and Angie. A different entity targeting different people would construct a different lie. Whatever narrative would most effectively lower defenses and gain permission to remain. The Annabelle case stands as a reminder that the paranormal world operates by rules that most people do not understand. Permission matters, invitation matters. The words we speak and the welcome we offer can open doors we do not realize exist. What begins as an innocent gift or a moment of compassion can become a gateway for forces that have no place in the human world. The doll behind the glass in Monroe remains a testament to that truth, a warning wrapped in cloth and buttons, forever watched, forever contained, forever dangerous. If you found this case compelling, subscribe to Vanishing Roads for more documented paranormal investigations from around the world. This story was created with AI assistance based on documented case files. All events reference real investigations and reported incidents.